Good morning.
Mike, David Moore, Dallas Morning News. Is Detroit as complete of a running team as you face with the ability to go inside, outside, and are these the best two backs in tandem you've kind of gone against this year?
I think that's a fair assessment. Very impressed with their, the multiplicity of run game, but also you got to be real impressed with the run blocking unit and the ability of both backs to be productive. I mean, they're over 2,000 yards. So, but yeah, I wouldn't. I agree. I agree with that.
And are they the sort of team? Their style. How do you describe their styles as being different? And do they just kind of go with the hot hand or whatever's working against that defense?
Oh, I think it's a flow. That's. I mean, it's not something that definitely I didn't study or, but I think clearly when you watch it by concept, I mean, and that's what Dan and his staff have done, and those are all things that really are part of your game planning, of how you can try to tie into who's in the game and so forth. But I mean, that's something you do weekly.
Clarence Hill, Four-Star Telegram. You've often said defense win championship, but quarterbacks win Super Bowls. How well is Dak playing right now, and what more do you need from him over the last couple of weeks of the season?
I do, respectfully. I just think. I mean, that's a very vague question. I mean, I think he's playing really well. But yeah, I think it's just like any season. I mean, it's the regular season is clearly different than the playoffs, and the game's still a game of football. But I do like the body of work that he's put together. I think like any year, it's not are you going to go through adversities and so forth? Yeah, it's just a matter of when and how much and how it comes at you. And I think he's handled that very well. I just go through the first quarter of the season. We started a little slower, and then once we got going, I think he's done a great job of just really running the system, and that's where the discipline comes at the quarterback position. I think he's exceptional there because we're about ball distribution. We spend a lot of time as a staff, in the off season putting our schemes together, and because at this point in the year, we don't want to go down there on a Wednesday or Thursday and install. We want to feel like we're reviewing, and that plays best to the quarterback. And but he has to handle the changes. As far as the command, the huddle, the cadence, and all that. That's a constant that grows each and every week. So, but I really like the way he's playing. I think he's definitely playoff ready.
Mike, Todd Archer with ESPN. Laporta was a guy that you guys liked coming into the draft. Mm-hmm. Has he kind of been what you thought he'd be coming out?
Oh yeah, I think he's done an excellent job. Just watching him at Iowa, personally, I thought he was a complete tight end. Obviously they didn't throw the ball around the yard all day, but you can see the opportunities that he did have. His ability to, his yards after the catch. And I think he's shown the ability in college, and he's in a high-powered offense where his route running is definitely stands out. But I felt that he was someone you can really utilize in the run blocking, and also someone that can play that third tight end, moving back forward even from a fullback position, and I think his numbers in the passing game speak for themselves.
What went into the decision on bringing Biletsko up and then releasing Evans?
Well, I just think as we look at you look at your roster, these are really conversations that have been going on for weeks, and we feel Wally's ready to go. His time has been well spent in the weight room and training, and I think the depth at the tackle position is important.
Michael Gelkin, Dallas Morning News. Along the lines of IR, Rick return. Sean McEwen, where is he, and how soon do you start his clock in order to get him playoff ready? If that's still
Sean's doing very well. I mean, he's same guy every day. That's I always loved about Sean. His work ethic is impeccable. But yeah, I have nothing to report on this week. But he's doing well.
And Micah, when getting to the quarterback, he gets there so fast. Even when they're trying to get rid of the ball quick, he still finds a way to affect the passer. How distinct is that about the way that he wins?
Oh man, it's distinct, unique. Well, you whip out your vocabulary. He's I don't know if you've ever. The speed and his get off and his ability to split two, and he's the number one pressure player in the National Football League, and and he has a tremendous skill set. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely unique.
Garrett.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Mike, yesterday you said after watching film the Lions were the best team that you'd be playing this year. What was it after watching film, whether it was specific players or things that you saw that kind of led you to that assessment?
I think my words were more, I think this is going to be the biggest challenge that we've had at home this year. And in the reality of it, it's because it's the next one. But no, I do respect what I've seen on film. I'm impressed with what they've, the program that they've built up there. Obviously it starts with Dan. Being in that division a long time, I've always, it was fondly of that place. I thought it was, the Steel Belt, man. I have a little love for the Steel Belt up here in Detroit and just the town, and it's a great sports town. So, I am. It's nice to see, that the family have success, and I just think Dan has done a heck of a job, and I think it's going to be a hell of a contest Saturday night.
Calvin.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Hutchinson, obviously we talk a lot about Micah in this room, but what do you think of Hutchinson on the other side there?
Say it again, Kellen.
We talk a lot about Micah.
Yes.
What do you think about Hutchinson?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, definitely. Love his tempo. Obviously his length. Has a great motor and finish. Has a hell of a spin move. But no, I think he's, complete command of the defense. You can see his comfort, and I think that really reflects in how they move him around. So, you'll see him inside sometimes. He'll play both sides. So, obviously a very versatile player.
Yeah.
Nick Harris, DallasCowboys.com. You know how hard it is for the Lions to win the NFC North. Why do you think Dan Campbell's been able to figure it out this year?
Oh, I mean, just watching clearly from the outside, I think, when, he went in there with a vision, and I think the team plays to the vision, and I think they've been very consistent. Felt that way. I think we played in mid-October last year. I think that, going into that game, I thought that there was a very good football team, and I think now a year later, it's definitely a team that's grown, and the offense has been explosive. I think Aaron Glenn does an excellent job with the defense. I mean, it's just I think like anything, when you look across the field and the coach makes you work during the week, and then with that it's a competitive game. It'll like they all do come down to execution. I mean, I just think that those guys have done a good job, and it just deserve the respect.
Jordan Lewis, his physicality, something that you can feel this past weekend. Where do you see him over the course of this season just continue to grow?
I think it's pretty remarkable, just the way he's come back from the injury and hasn't missed anything. I think, what him and Terrence Steele have done so far has been extremely impressed with those guys. But that's Jordan. I mean, it's, and that's why, he commands the respect that he has in our locker room, in our operations, because everybody respects the way he prepares, and he's a man's man, and he definitely plays that way.
Todd.
Mike, when you lay out goals at the beginning of the season, it's always win the division and those sort of things. Where does going 8-0 at home rank? Is that something you guys put out at the board in the start of the year, or is that something that grows during the course of the year?
I think, to be honest with you, I think it's, frankly, in my experience in the league, it's something that's, generally understood. I learned it in Kansas City, back in those years. Just an incredible home team, and the old adage is if you win all your home games and split on the road, you'll have a healthy seed in the playoffs. And I think that's a pretty realistic goal to have, because when you have a great home field advantage, and I think home field advantage is a little different than it was 30 years ago. I think the ability of no huddle and the communication and the silent count and all those things have improved much. That home field advantage isn't quite what it used to be, but there's definitely benefits of it. So yeah, we would we'd be thrilled to keep winning at home.
Clarence.
Can you talk about why did it work with Evans, and can you talk about the linebacker depth behind the starters now with Evans gone?
Yeah, I mean, we'll answer that, at the end of the week. I think it's important for that to be answered then. But yes, I think this is, these are roster moves, and they're tough moves. And it's a bit of a catch-22. We're a healthy football team, and we hope it stays that way. So, But then when you get down to this time of year, and you start to project, particularly with young players, this is why you have to make tough decisions like this. So this is really stems from being healthy, but also the tackle position, and we just felt the depth with Wally would be beneficial.
All righty, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.